But maybe like for the last 5 minutes, should we talk a little bit about Python like Python packages? Because we now mentioned Conda, and many people who use Python and install Python packages use Conda. But there's of course also pip. And what would you say, Radovan, to someone who wants to install a package? Should you use pip on our system? Should you use Conda? How do you do that?
I use both. Pip for certain situation, Conda for other situation. If you are unsure, it's probably Conda. And if this is if you get like a Conda environment file, it's probably Conda. Pip and virtual environments is an alternative. It's the similar idea. It really works similarly like Conda. And I use it for projects that are purely Python. Because Conda is a bit more general than pip. Pip is only for Python or packages that have a Python interface. Conda is for Python and many other things. So if it's purely Python and you know that you want to use pip, it's possible. You can pip install packages on the system, but then I use virtual environments for this. So I don't install pip into the system. Anyway, you cannot as a user, because we would just overwrite each other's packages all the time. For this, I also create an isolated environment and I pip install into that isolated environment. Is this what you wanted to show, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I think, we don't have that much time, but so general, if you use Conda and pip, you can combine these two. Like you can have a Conda environment and you can install this pip into that Conda environment. I prefer if the package, and most Python packages are available via pip or via Conda. If I'm using Conda, I use Conda for everything that's possible. But there are some smaller packages or sometimes you have to use pip because Conda doesn't it's not available on Conda. Then you can just use pip in your Conda environment. So I can go back to here, Conda activate. I don't know how to go the other way. Yeah, Conda activate it, and then use pip to install something which I know is not available on Conda. Otherwise, use Conda. If you do a purely Python thing and for some reason you don't want to use Conda, or you can use the virtual environments with virtual env. And we describe it here basically. We also still advise you to not necessarily install stuff in your user user folder, home folder. Because again, you will get a lot of files, and this can like bring you close to the limit. Like here, I'm not very far from the quota. But then what you want to do if you want to only use like Python, so you can just like look for which Python versions are available, just avail or God, I think this is the lesson I have. Right. And then you can load one of these versions. You can create a new wide virtual environment like described here. 2 minutes, it's a bit fast. And then you can install with that into, but then it will end up in your home. No, it will end up wherever you are at that moment, isn't it? Like if okay, now I load Python. And then I'm currently in my home, but let's switch to cluster projects and 99x, okay. And then to JD is I can then copy this to command, create a new virtual Python environment.
Yeah,
Python.
And you decide where it is. I mean, here it will be under my new Python environment, which will be created where you are, but you could also say / somewhere else, even somewhere else. I mean, really you decide wherever it should be placed.
Yeah. Yeah, I can also say it.
But we recommend not to put it into your home. It's better to put it either into the project or into your cluster work. Cluster work disappears after 20 days or so, but this may or may not be a problem.
Something what keen eyes might have spotted, I'm having an activated conda environment and then I loaded a different Python, which is a bit... Now I'm not sure which Python I will actually use. Yeah, I can of course check. And let's see. Okay, now I'm actually using the module I just loaded, but this is not great. It's probably better to deactivate the conda environment and then start again, like load the module and then do the environment. And then you can pip install into that, of course. And it will end up in the folder where you created the virtual environment, be it in your home or be it in your project. Project being more advisable. Yeah. We also describe here how to then use it, but it's basically just sourcing it and loading the same module. The only thing which I think I want to mention now at last minute is if you do virtual environments, load always the same Python version. Like if you create a module with Python 3.8, then also use that later and don't then load Python 3.11. I think that then can lead to incompatibilities. Then rather, if you want to switch to a new version, load the Python version you want, the module, and create a new virtual environment using that version. I mean, you could just call it then Python 3.11, like calc or something. Okay, I think that's all from us. If you have questions, we can tackle them later at 12:15 in the Q&A. But just if you have any questions, if you tried it out, or if you realize something, bring up the questions later and we will talk about them. Okay.